Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. I was going to put the hat on before I started.
Oh, no, you're too busy, apparently.
Well, there is there we go. We have one of our children gets a little sneaky with the devices sometimes, and I was deep in a Google search history of did someone grounded find a way to while they're grounded get on other devices, and I'm close to the smoking gun,
Oh,
and all that was hitting right as we were supposed to start the show.
yes.
And then for Selena, that was very delicious because it's normally the shoe is on the other foot where
Normally, I'm the one I would like to do this other thing really quickly. And you're like, we got to start the show at 9. And I'm like, hey, Jeff, it's 9 o'clock. Hey, Jeff, it's 9. And he's just like, hold on. I'm in this Google search history of which we found nothing.
because I was being
Nothing.
rushed.
Oh,
Um,
does it feel good to be rushed?
No, I was also not happy that we were that it was hitting at that point. But
No. But I
um,
mean, you can't really time those kinds of things.
good morning, Sam. Good morning, Nex. Welcome to Monday. It is our children have no school today because it is a fog day, which is a thing, I guess,
Ow.
that can happen.
Just ran over my own foot.
You can have no school whatsoever.
Because of fog.
Which here in Silent Hill, I guess. It is very foggy.
It is. It's not as foggy as it was earlier either, but
I think honestly it was one of those they prepare to have lots of snow days because normally we do.
and then they didn't have very many snow days this
We
year.
had two from when it was just cold.
Yeah, but
And then I think they were like, man, we've got 5 to burn and we've only used 2 of them. And they're like, it's foggy today. Let's go. I think that's probably where that landed. It's a little weird though. But yeah, the state of the world is, not great. We're in a trade war with our closest friends, and my industry is already on fire, and then every single comic book that you see is actually printed in Canada, so that'll be really fun to see how that affects an industry that's already having companies go bankrupt and stuff. But a song calling out a dude for being a creep won 5 Grammy Awards last night, and that's what's fueling me. That's what's keeping me going right now. It is not like us just sweeping and winning all the awards, and Kendrick literally wearing a Canadian tuxedo to go up and accept it. It's just it was. That's the thing. That's the thing that will continue to make things okay. Nick says, "Yay, Monday. State of the world is not great. News report over." Yeah, I think it sucks too because we're in Michigan, which is basically Canada.
I mean, it's not, but it is.
Right. I mean, it's
We're still chained to the orange man.
right, but back in the days when things were
Back in those good old days before things were shitty.
Nick says Canada without the good water. Yeah, Nestle's ruined all of our water here. They back in the better days, when this we have a spot that's really famous for hey, if you get on the wrong road, you're gonna end up in Canada. There's no getting off that thing. And
I wish I would have done that back in the day. Just accidentally driven to Canada. Take me in, Canada. Take me away.
Well, back in the day, it was a pretty soft border, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
I don't have a passport, so they're not gonna let me in.
Now, yeah, you have to have a passport or an enhanced license to do it.
Oh, I don't have either of those.
And then, but back in the day, it was you could just cruise over.
Stop
and
saying back in the day. It makes you sound old.
I am old.
Oh.
And when I was doing stand up, all the gigs that were like just over on the other side of Detroit there into Canada used to be like lots of comedians would work.
Look at this marker.
Oh, poor marker.
It's like someone
Just
like
jammed it.
Yeah, it looks like someone pushed really hard because it doesn't like work. Oh, it does work. Well, why would you push hard then? I didn't do that. I don't know who
It
did.
might have been me. I don't remember. I just don't know who else was using the marker.
Probably.
Nick says, "Hello, get on the road and keep going." Yeah, that road to Windsor in Detroit. You just take that wrong turn in Detroit, and then you were locked in. Now they've had to have more of an exit because they used to make you drive into Canada and turn around.
It's a little more.
Well, they've had to because the border has gotten in my lifetime crazier, and like Windsor used to be like most comedians and musicians and everyone who worked Detroit also worked Windsor pretty regularly. But you know, when I started doing comedy, I still had a passport that was good, and I would get a lot of Windsor gigs because it was like they could not half to 3/4 of the Detroit comedians a lot of them didn't drive, you know, so it was like they didn't have IDs that could get them into Canada to work Windsor. So Nick says the downside is ending up in Windsor, the anus of Ontario. That's like the only part of Canada I've seen. So like I would like to see more. It's but yeah, it's like we're so close, and everything here in Michigan is especially intermixed with Canada that this could get real bad real fast. But you know what? It's fine.
There's
Everything.
apparently a steampunk festival in Redacted because I can't tell you where it is because I'll accidentally dox myself. But there's a steampunk festival in a place that starts with a J that sometimes we go to.
Okay.
Do you know where I'm talking about?
I'm guessing I know.
The place with the mall?
The place with the mall.
The place with the TJ Maxx? The place with the TJ Maxx? And the Five and Below?
Yeah,
And we go there?
Yeah.
You had to get a suit there once.
I did have to get a suit
Yes,
there
anyway,
once.
that place has a steampunk festival. And I did not know about it. It's its second year going. Yeah. One of the people that I'm friends with.
Do you want to go to a steampunk
I
festival?
kind of do. I kind of just want to spend this year like doing
fun stuff,
fun artsy shit.
Okay. Do I have to dress up for the steampunk festival?
Yes, obviously.
I will go to any of these things with you if it's not required of me to dress up. That is my like one.
What? That's like half the fun.
For you, it is not fun for me.
Don't like. Oh yeah, that's right. When we went to the Renaissance Festival, you were just like. You didn't dress up at all.
I wore my Mind Flayer t-shirt. It was a D&D t-shirt.
You did.
And everyone complimented it.
My friend John, we went to the Ren Fair. It was a different Ren Fair. It was a smaller one. And people were like starting to like very much like neg him for like wearing a Hawaiian shirt. And he did it to piss people off. He did it because he's like, ha ha ha, I'm going to wear a Hawaiian shirt to the Renaissance Festival because it's very not Renaissance-y. And then when he actually got the negative attention that he wanted, he was like, people are yelling at me for wearing. I was like, John, you did this.
You asked for this.
You did this to yourself. It was funny, though.
Nick says, put on a welding mask and a leather apron. Done. I mean, that's a solid plan. I could go with.
I don't have any steampunk stuff. Steampunk is not my...
The other thing I was going to say is, like, it's not
my bag. It was when I was, like, 14 and I was getting into cosplay in general. It was, like... I was like, ooh, steampunk's the coolest ever. And then I just, like, dropped out of it. But I kind of am just, like... I just want to go to cool art shit, man. I just want to go and, like, feed that side of my brain.
Yeah, I'm down. I just don't ever... want to wear anything but jeans and a t-shirt. I am Adam Sandler, but it's not basketball shorts.
That's fine.
It is jeans.
That's fine. You can do whatever.
And a t-shirt or jeans and a hoodie.
So you're telling me that if I was like, ooh, let's go to this random anime con that's like 30 minutes away.
I'd
You
say
would come
sounds
with me
great.
if you didn't have to dress up.
Correct.
Okay. And you would be like, yay.
As long as I don't have to dress up.
Okay. Because, like, I can 100%, like, go to an anime thing and, like, you can be, like, a little bit crotchety, but it starts getting into the area of, like, if you're crotchety every time we do something that I want to do, I start not wanting to do it because I don't want you to be grumpy. You know what I mean?
That's understandable, but grumpy's kind of my whole shtick at this point.
You decided that. No one else is having a good time with that. Just you.
Welcome back, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Sam says he's back. Sorry, I had to feed the stray kitty.
Never apologize for doing that. Ever.
Yeah, we feed a lot of kitties.
We
around
do.
here.
We feed a lot. And Jeff yells at me because he's like, we can't take in another cat. And I'm like, I won't. And then that's how we got Bug. And I've been trying to get this one cat that she's pretty flighty, but she's slowly been warming up to me.
We weren't going to not take in Bugs. The way he ran right up to you and like...
Oh, he knew. He was like, that's my mom. I don't know how. I don't know who that lady is, but that's my mom.
Shiki said, good morning, Shiki. Shiki says, I'm sending you a photo of the kitty.
Yay.
Sam says we have a super timid one here. He runs whenever he sees anyone.
That's like the cat that comes to our house. She's almost all white except for like a couple like gray splotches. And I've been trying for like almost like a half of a year to get her to warm up to me. And then finally, like, she came up on our porch when I was feeding her and I was like petting her. It was super cute. Oh, he's a baby. Oh my God.
It looks so sleepy.
Oh, he's so cute. I just want to snuggle him.
Yeah, that's a solid cat. Sam says, but he started eating the food we left out, and he was laying on our porch waiting for food and fell asleep. So I took a bowl out the front door and slowly walked around and set food for him and walked away. He didn't run. That's how it starts.
Yes.
You're about to have another cat.
I support this. But
we saw a raccoon.
We did. We saw a raccoon.
Lena almost made me
tree.
stop the car.
Yeah. Well, we thought it was like a dog or a cat or something run across the road. Not like super close to our car, but like way up.
It like wasn't nighttime either. It
no,
was like the middle
was
of
like
the day.
5 o'clock or like 4 o'clock. And we were driving home and I was like, what was that? That just ran across the road. You're like, I don't know. It's weird. And then our middle kid was like, that's weird. That looked like a really fat animal. And then we drove past and it was just a little raccoon next to a tree, like going like this and just like looking at us. I made eye contact with him and I was like, oh my gosh, we locked eyes. I feel blessed. Because I've never made eye contact with a raccoon before.
Never?
I don't think so. I've seen them like in the shadows at night. Like I've seen them in our garbage cans and like.
I woke up to one in my bed as a child.
The way that would just be my raccoon then.
I wanted to keep him. My parents would not let me keep him. It was like a baby. And it like climbed into my bed.
For warmth?
It was like cold out.
Dude, as a parent, if that happened to our kids, I would not say no. Are you kidding me?
Well, I was
raccoon...
like, it was also like, I was freaked out because it was like, I woke up to something in my bed.
Yeah,
and then I like got up and I closed my door and woke my parents out and I was freaked out. But I was just like torn because I was like,
he's just a little guy.
Right, but I was also not emotionally or like.
You were also a little guy.
I was a little dude and like, but like I probably wasn't super on team let's keep it either.
I don't know that as a kid I would have been stoked to find a random animal in my bed if I didn't expect it to be.
It was
there.
freaky.
Yeah, like I
still remember. Like it was like I woke up and just had like the eyes.
Oh my God.
Staring at me.
That would have been so scary.
I also very famously, like, that story doesn't have accompanying evidence because, you know, it was in the days before cell phones. But, like, I also had a possum climb into my car, and we do have video evidence of that. So
Yeah. Isn't that when one of our kids left the door open during
Yeah.
Thanksgiving?
it was Thanksgiving, and it was like, hey, go put this. Like the family is like, here's all these leftovers, and here's this stuff. Hand me down clothes and stuff, and it was like, hey, you guys go put all this stuff in the car so it's ready for when we leave, and then just sitting, and then. I went out to start my car, and like the passenger door was open, and I was like, that's weird. And so I closed the passenger door, and then I went to start my car, and I look over, and there's just like a possum hanging out in the floor of the passenger seat.
He's just like, hello.
You say hi.
There's this one time at this house where I thought there was a stray cat outside because I heard rustling in the bushes, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna feed the cat. So I got a bowl of cat food, and I walked outside to like open the door, and then there's just this possum sitting on our porch, and he like kind of walked forward like he was gonna come in, and I opened the door like I was gonna let him in because I was like, oh, cat. And then I was like, it was like a split second realization of like, that's not a cat, that's a possum. And the possum was like, oh my god, like there's a person opening that door, I'm scared.
It was during one of Vince's streams too.
And just kind of like, he kind of just like waddled away, and I was like, oh, do I go get him? Like, so I left some food out for him, and I think he ate it. It might have been a girl too, and she might have been pregnant, which is why she was like on our porch trying to like get food.
Shiki says, I want to give him all the love. I call him Theon Greyboy. Poor thing has an injured leg and a limp.
Oh, poor baby.
Nick says there were some raccoons fighting somewhere outside last night. Lord, they loud. They are loud. They make like a weird like chittering noise during the day too.
Yeah.
Because we have them in our backyard, and they're loud, but I love them. Sam says Shiki's sister had raccoons. To which Shiki says they were the sweetest babies ever. I miss them. Nick says there was a homeless guy selling drugs out of his tent in one of the encampments here, and he had a wild raccoon guarding it inside.
Oh my gosh.
I kind of love that.
That vibe, yeah.
I would watch that movie.
Yeah. No, but I've never seen I've seen raccoons, but I've never like been close enough to one and like looked at one and it looked at me. You know what I mean?
Oh.
They've always been like concerned with like getting away.
That's happened like half the time when I've pulled in. There's like this moment where I'll pull in and one will hop out of our trash, but like as it hops out, it gives me this little look like, are you gonna chase me? Because if I'm just running off to run back in here, I'd rather like that I like eye contact, and I'd like that it's like will come out and then just like shamble off.
Yeah, they're like, well, I don't want to chance it. Like you might come after me. It was so funny. Once our orange cat buddy, he was a half indoor, half outdoor cat, which now we do not subscribe to that lifestyle. But at the time, both I and I think Jeff as well did not know that well, I mean, I'm sure like you knew it was like dangerous, but like not like, and he was a really scrappy cat too, so like we felt like we were doing him a favor by letting him outside to
it was rough. We probably got another year with him by you forcing him to stay inside.
Yeah, when I moved in, I was already like, I've never had indoor outdoor cats, and I've never like, that stresses me out so much. Even before I've like done research and seen like the like effects of having an indoor outdoor cat, but just like in general, I don't like the idea of a cat leaving and then like being like, okay, it's gonna come back, because I have abandonment issues. So
well, and like it's weird, like because he and I kind of had this understanding that at some point I would let him out and he wouldn't come back, and
that was the idea of like that he was just gonna have like a quiet, like, I'm just gonna wander away for the last time.
And when he was like really not doing well, he kept looking at me like, God, dude, man, this is the deal.
Yeah,
like
you
let
said,
me the fuck out.
You said, and I'm sitting there like, we need to keep my baby inside. He's like, lady, I'm not your baby. I want to go outside and just pass peacefully, please. And I do.
He was like so like, he was done, and he was just
Okay, you say that, but like at the same time, he became like he went from like scrappy like big man cat to like
because you
my
softened him
my,
up.
my little angel baby. I would hold him and he would like put his little paws like on my shoulder and he would just look at me and I miss him so much. But yeah, I turned your big man cat into a little baby. And he deserved that. He deserved to be a baby.
Nick says, "Yeah, I really wish people wouldn't let their cats out. Cats are awful for outdoor ecosystems."
They are.
I think the thing around here is they're out. Like it's not like I would never take an indoor cat and be like, "You're an outdoor cat now."
Yeah, I do think that the fact that he just kind of showed up one day, you were like, oh, like he was already an outdoor cat, and then like he just kept wanting to go outside still, and then you thought you were doing him a favor.
It was like we would, yeah. It was he showed up and we fed him, and it was very stereotypical dad thing of just like don't feed that cat. Okay, you can feed that cat, but don't let that cat in.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you let that cat in the garage, don't let it in the house. And it was like, and then I was bonded to this thing that emotionally wrecked me when he passed. But there's such a large population around here. It's pretty bad.
We have at least 3 different strays just kind of like visiting our house on the weekly and just, yeah. Like, and they're very like, they do not want to come inside. Like, they might at some point want to come inside, but like they aren't. The difference is like Bug was just like, oh my God, my person. Like,
yeah.
he just was like, cool. And he definitely, it's possible that his existence before could have been an indoor-outdoor cat because sometimes he does go to the door and be like, are you going to let me outside? Or like, he'll go to the garage door a lot and be like, I'd like to go out to the garage. And I'm like, no, dude, you're an indoor cat now.
I'd like to build a catio at some point.
I like that idea too. We would just have to really like keep it.
Yeah, you seal it up with that mesh stuff.
Keep it sealed up and also just kind of like with the fleas.
Yeah. Oh, that too.
Yeah, because like if they're out on a catio, like the fleas can get in there easier. And after like the last 2 years of our debacles with fleas, I don't ever want to put them in the front lines for fleas again because this has been a nightmare.
Oh yeah, that's the
as a cat parent, like it has been. I think it's taken like 10 years off my life.
It's been nice that whenever I talk to other people that seem to have their shit more together than us with like pet ownership and stuff around here, it's just this around here, it has been bad the last like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, because it's like it's been an unusually like humid, marshy kind of weather in this area in a way that like it has not been before.
Yeah.
Like the temperatures have just been really weird and icky.
It's almost like there's something that is globally changing the temperatures everywhere. Yeah. Wild. Shiki says, LMAO, okay, I know we moved on, but I found raccoon photos and bombarded you with them. Oh, look at the babies.
It's a baby. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at his sweet little face.
Yeah, I just want to keep them.
What the heck is going on out in the... I bet it's our cats.
Either our cats or our children enjoying their fog delay. Nick says my friend had 3 cats and he got fleas. The idiot went and bought flea shampoo from the dollar store. The stuff killed 2 of his cats and made one super sick for like a month.
Yeah, I don't chance it with that stuff, and Jeff probably gets a little overwhelmed with my like very like we have to do this the right way like mindset. I don't know that you would ever buy anything from the dollar store, but like I was even like, we can't buy like the stuff from Walmart. It's not going to be effective. We have to go to like a pet store and spend like $30. And Jeff's like, but I use this stuff all the time. It's fine. And I'm like, no.
It's even when it's not even me, but like when it's recommended to us by other people that have like cats and dude, that's what it's just
I
like.
know,
I
I'm
trust
just-
this person.
I get really anxious about that stuff. Like, I probably have some level of like health anxiety for both myself and like my people and my pets. And so like I was the kind of person that like if I had a chest pain, I'd go to the ER immediately because I'm like I don't want to chance it. So like that's kind of bled over into the like caring of the animals of like if they act different in any way, I'm just like we got to keep an eye on that. Like
Yeah,
I'm just high strung. I realize that about myself and
I grew up in the like I have a chest pain. It's like walk it off. You're probably fine.
yeah, and meanwhile, I'm like, I need to go to the hospital and I need to stay there until I have 5 doctors tell me that I'm not having a heart attack. Thank you.
But that I be growing up like even third or fourth generation Irish American. There's still like just a lot of just that like, oh, you want to go to doctor so they can rip you off and tell you you're fine. They're just gonna tell you to stop drinking and smoking. You could do that on your own if you want
I don't
to.
drink or smoke.
No, but I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I know.
That is the kind of prevailing is that but bunch of just rip-offs to the doc. And to be fair, like we went and took a cat to the vet this week, and I was just like, my immediate, and I'm not saying it's a healthy reaction, my immediate reaction paying that bill was just like, what the fuck did I feel like a moron? Like, why are we?
Well,
I'm not saying it's a healthy reaction.
no, I think
I feel that way about doctors. I feel that way about vets.
you feel that way about doctors for yourself too, where you're just like, I spent this much money to figure out I'm okay. Like,
yeah.
Why? And I'm like, bro, you were literally passing out in the shower, and you're like, so? I didn't need a doctor to tell me that I'm fine. I'm not passing out right now, am I? I'm like, oh my God, the years where you're old and I have to take you in places are going to be...
That's a different story, though. Like, that's a, like...
You're still going to have that attitude.
Right, but you have to, at that point, do kind of more maintenance-y checkup stuff.
You're still going to be crotchety about it.
I'm sure I am, but... Shiki says, I'll find videos later and send them. I know I have a few of them that picked up their purring. It's awesome. Nick said, yeah, go to a pet store. Shiki said, hello, yeah, I get what you mean. Like, Walmart would work if that's all you can afford, but definitely not the Dollar Tree. The only thing for pets I've gotten from the Dollar Tree were nail clippers and a couple of toys. Yeah. Nick says vet bills are insane, though. They are. Like we went, because we had, like, worm stuff we were dealing with, and they were like, okay, here's, like, a better, like, prescription that you can use. And if we could have just called and been like, hey, can we get a prescription for our cats? Like,
no, but instead they charged us a whole ass extra fee just for like having. We took her in, traumatized the poor thing, and then like they looked at her. They didn't take a stool sample. They didn't take, like, if I wouldn't have had, I had like one of the worms too, and because I was like, I have to prove that she has worms because I think what started all of this, honestly, is that, well, not started it for her, but started it for the house, was that Bug came in with worms, and I literally said to them, yo, he's got worms. I seen them. I've never had a cat with worms before. I know this is not, like, right. I know this is not normal. Like, and I'm over the top with this stuff, but, like, I know this is just weird. And they were like, yeah, we took his stool sample, and he doesn't have any worms in it. And I was like,
but he does.
But worm came out of him. A literal, like, segment of worm, bro. Like, what? How do I make that up? Like, and they're like, okay, well, we'll retest it. And I was like, okay, thank you. And then they retested it, and it was like, yeah, actually, he doesn't have worms. But the stuff we gave you for his fleas will work on worms, too. So, yeah. And I'm like, okay, thank you. And then it seemed to have died down a bit from what, but again, I'm not like checking his butt like all the time and being like, ugh, like Like, I can't do that. I'm sorry. And so I assumed that the medicine was working, and then turns out it probably was not. And
So we got medicine now for all of our cats,
which is great.
but it cost as much as that vet visit just cost. And so it's like, if I didn't have to pay for the vet visit, I could pay for the medicine that would actually help the cats. But instead, I paid for the vet visit, and now I need to like come up with the money for the medicine. And it's just like,
I understand the like they need to look at the cat to be like, yes, no, maybe so.
or we could just call and be like, hey, there's worms. And they could be like, okay, are you sure? Is it this, this, this? Yes. Okay, we're going to put a prescription through, and we could just pay for the prescription. I don't understand. Because
That part
they're
is,
making money off of that, too, because it's all through their
That
little web
part-
store.
yeah, that part I don't understand, because it's like, if they took a stool sample, that would be one thing, because they have to, like, I could see, like, okay, they're using the stool sample to know that they have worms, therefore we're not just deworming them for no reason. Which, why would someone do that in the first place? Like, why would someone be like, hey, my cat has literal worms? Like, I don't know what you would get from lying about that, but it just seems like a weird thing to try to get meds for when you don't actually need it, I guess. But the way that they had acted before was like, we need to prove that there's
Because
worms.
they're crooks. They're all crooks. Like, everyone in the medical profession, everyone in the vet... It's just
I don't
a
think-
big, giant...
Okay, let's not go that far, because the ladies that work at the vet that
Come
we-
over to the crazy. It's
No,
fine. It's
I'm
good
not
waters
coming
over
to
here.
the crazy. I'll stay right here, thank you.
And then you don't have to take care of yourself. And then when something's like largely your fault, you can be like, it's the crooks. It's great.
No.
The waters are good in Crazy Town.
No, the ladies at the vet place that we went to genuinely care about cats, and like genuinely,
Yes, they're very sweet
they're
and wonderful.
pets in general. They're wonderful people.
And especially during the buddy thing, they were very...
They were so kind. They
kind.
were more than like patient and like.
And we owed them money forever after it, and they were very chill about it.
Yeah.
More chill than we deserved.
Yes. So like let's not go as far as to say they're all crooks, but like I will say it's very silly to be like, "Hey, I have to look at this cat to see if it has worms," and then be like just look at it like for 5 seconds and then be like, "Okay, here's a prescription." It's like, you could have just like asked me to take a picture of her. Like, you literally looked at her. You didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
You looked at her with your eyeballs. It's like, I have lots of pictures of her if you want to see. Like, wait, what?
Sam said, I stepped outside to check on the kitty, and he was staring off across the road at a tree down the hill. It had 7 vultures in it.
Oh my god.
Lindsay, good morning or good
Hello.
afternoon to you. Hello. Hi.
I'm back. Can we talk about the 7 vultures in
It's a lot of
tree?
vultures.
Vultures are scary.
Sorry for shouting. No, you can always shout your way in
Yeah.
here. Good morning.
It's all good.
Yeah, and like honestly, owls are the biggest motherfuckers on the planet, and they have just really good PR. So, if you are finding, that's the thing, is everyone's like, oh, cats are so terrible for the local population. Cats. People need to stop letting their cats outside. Or they're like, oh, fucking coyotes. Coyotes are doing all this bullshit. If you're finding a bunch of dead things around, more than likely it's fucking owls. It's fucking owls. Owls are like the crazy, like nothing in the animal
What did
kingdom.
you share earlier? Sorry. What you shared on Facebook? The fucking. Did you hear he bit the news reporter?
No.
Yeah, he
That's
fucking
amazing.
did. He says, "No, we're not leaving winter. We have a groundhog that tells us when the winter is done or spring is coming."
Do you have a groundhog over there, Lindsay? Do you make any
Do you have
sense
a
of our
groundhog?
stupid groundhog tradition?
It's not stupid. I wish they wouldn't bother him though. Like, just let the man sleep.
I shared a meme that said that the groundhog, I'll put it in the Discord, that the groundhog, Punxsutawney.
Punxsutawney.
Punxsutawney. What did you just say?
Petoskey.
Pox Petoskey?
Yeah. Phil hospitalized after receiving horrifying vision of the future. Skulls as far as the eye can see. Clouds of worms over the kingdom of the earth. And it's just like a yelling groundhog. Oh my god, that's so fun. That's like kind of almost boomer humor, but like funny.
Shiki said, stop it, you're gonna summon a demon. Lee says, like the animal, yes. And we have
he comes out of his little hut and he tells us when spring is coming.
Yes. This is American tradition. Where we rely on an animal to tell us whether spring or winter is happening in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's like a whole deal. We have like big like news reporters standing over his hut. I say hut. I don't really know if he lives in a hut or not. I think he lives in a burrow, but I couldn't tell you. But people come and they knock on his door. Do they knock on his door?
He comes out, and if he Sam says it's pretty dumb, to be honest. Thank you, Sam. It's definitely one of those things that if you read about that another culture did, you would be like, what the fuck is up with those backwoods assholes? Like, like
I like that we talk to groundhogs.
We don't talk about it. We let one out in front of like hundreds of people.
Stress the poor thing out.
Yeah.
We knock on his little door, and then he comes out and he's like, what the fuck?
Like, dear prognosticator of the weather, tell us your secrets.
How do they know? Like,
supposedly if he sees his shadow.
How do they know? Does he tell you?
I guess if he sees a shadow and gets scared, like
oh my god.
That's the thing.
Bro, he's probably scared because of all the people.
Lindsay says, LMAO, that is awesome. Nick says, those are indigenous animals, though. They are part of the ecosystem and belong there. Owls take a ton of rodents. The cat is not part of the ecosystem, and the little murder hobos take out the same number of birds, and birds are super...
hobos.
They are murder hobos.
They totally are.
I
love them, though. Little fluffy murder hobos.
Yeah. Shiki says, I saw someone say that if the tradition were anything other than American, relying on weather or not, an animal sees its shadow to see if winter was going away or not, surrounding him with droves of humans, that we would think it was witchcraft or a cult. It 100%.
Yeah.
It's
I
so
like
weird.
groundhogs. I had a baby groundhog once. And like they're sweet. I mean, they're probably not if they're wild animals, but like when they're babies and they're not like grown and
We're starting to get them in our yard again.
What?
We successfully didn't have any in our yard for years because of our resident murder hobo.
Yeah. I remember because one year I went outside and there was just one in the yard, and I was like, thanks, buddy, for that nice imagery as I leave my house on this beautiful day. No, I love groundhogs. I think they're cute. I just don't think we should harass the specific one for plans of the future.
He said also he doesn't come out of his burrow. He's yanked out of a man-made prison by a stranger and exposed to hundreds of loud-ass humans and bright lights every year, when we all know this takes place 4 weeks before spring begins. Yeah.
They made him a burrow and they put him in it?
Yeah.
I thought they just built a thing around where he already lived.
No.
What the fuck? We have to go free him. Are you kidding me? It's not cute. No. I thought why did I think that? Why did I think that fucking I should have known. I should have known that the one thing that I was trying to give some level of whimsy to was just no. I'm so mad right now. Where does he live?
Sam said, yeah, it's not cute at all. He's not a wild animal, Lena. Cheeky said, it's also probably the 10th one they named Punxsutawney Phil. Lena, honey, this is America.
No, sometimes I try to disassociate and forget where I am.
This is America. Phil's in my area.
No.
Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania is where he lives.
Are we near Pennsylvania? Yeah. I don't have a map on me right this
We are
second.
indeed near Pennsylvania.
Let's go.
But so is everything.
Let's
Pennsylvania
go.
is a long-ass state.
Free him.
I have no idea if we're near Punxsutawney or not.
Is he guarded all year? I shouldn't say this live on the internet. I will not go free Petoskey Phil. I can't pronounce that. I can't pronounce that, and I won't even try. I'm sorry, I can't. It took me a long time to learn how to pronounce Petoskey. There's too many P words.
Yeah, but no one that's not from Michigan has to ever like know the word Petoskey. Punxsutawney.
Punxsutawney. That's how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Baloney. Punks and baloney.
Punks and baloney. Shiki says, according to the Groundhog Club, which is an amazing start to a sentence. According to the Groundhog Club, Phil, after the prediction, speaks to the club president in the language of groundhogese, which supposedly only the current president can understand. It's like Joseph Smith reading the tablets.
It's fucked up.
And then his prediction is translated and revealed to all.
Oh, so it's coming through the president of the Groundhog Club.
Just like Joseph Smith was the only person that could read the magic tablets with the magic glasses inside the hat.
Yeah. That
said that he could have multiple wives.
Uh-huh.
It's just, it makes sense, Lena. Sam said Pucks tawny, like the owl, I think. Nick says, I suspect this might not be an honest process. And then Sam said, squeak, squeaker, squeak, squeakin'. Yes. Perfect.
Punxsutawney Phil predicts 6 more weeks of winter after waking up to see his shadow.
Yep.
Where's the video where he bit somebody? Is that a lie? Did someone lie to me? I think someone lied to me.
Shiki says, yeah, it's definitely bullshit. It's at least some level of fun bullshit, but Sam says, honesty in America clutches pearls.
The one of the Google searches, which I'm very concerned with, is, does Punxsutawney Phil have a wife? And is Punxsutawney Phil immortal?
Well, Shiki says they say there's only been one Punxsutawney Phil, but this all started in 1887.
And again, he's immortal. Elixir of life? What? There's Punxsutawney Phil. Elixir of life is one of the things.
How great would he's like, this is all 100% legit. He's like actually immortal, and he's like, please let me die.
That's what he's trying to tell us. Poor boy.
I don't care if winter is coming soon or not next year. You've all invented technology that surpasses my abilities. Let me perish.
Oh my God. Why do people Google that? That's so weird. Someone Googled if someone ever dropped him. Like, why do you... Poor boy. I forgot what I was going to Google in the first place. I just need to know, like, do they let him out of there ever?
Sam says, who actually gives a damn about whether winter is coming or not? Shiki... Oh, and Sam said, just let the poor thing sleep. Shiki says every time he sees a shadow, he just gets excited thinking he's finally going to die. And then you yeet it back into the burrow.
Someone said it made them cry, like, and I thought they were like, I'm just so emotional and crying because of, like, I want this groundhog to be freed. But no, they're, like, emotional because of how beautiful this whole ceremony is.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, whatever, but...
we don't just talk about Punxsutawney Phil.
I would like to. Can we make this segment
every day?
Punxsutawney Phil hour?
Lindsay would like to know, does Punxsutawney Phil play Fortnite? Sorry, was meant to Google that. I'm surprised he's not in Fortnite.
Oh
like
my
everything
God,
else.
that would be insane.
We also cover all the news you nerd. It's got a whole segment. We like to call it the Daily Quack. Shiki says, oh, gross, the Weather Channel is playing a video of him right now. What else are they going to do? Hey, by the way, BioWare has reportedly lost at least half of its staff, with fewer than 100 people left at the studio, a ghost of its former self. This is from Ted Litchfield, by the way, at PC Gamer. He says that Bloomberg reports that following EA's layoffs and restructuring at BioWare, the studio now has fewer than 100 employees, down from more than 200 during the development of Dragon Age The Veilguard. Meanwhile, at its peak, BioWare consisted of 3 studios and conservatively over 400 employees. Interesting, Bloomberg sources say that the plan to loan BioWare developers to other EA studios while the next Mass Effect was in pre-production was put in place shortly after the Veilguard launch, but before its sales failure came to light. Regardless of the Veilguard's ultimate performance, former BioWare producer Mark Dara's prediction that the studio had become a one-game-at-a-time outfit was on the money, and many devs would have had nothing to work on before Mass Effect entered full production. Those relocations were made permanent, following the news of Veilguard's missing its sales target by 50%. With an additional 20-plus full layoffs on top of that, according to Bloomberg, BioWare staff is now down to fewer than 100 people. During development of the Veilguard, the studio had over 200 employees, but we can go back further to understand the full scope of BioWare's decline in the past decade. A 2019 Global News report on BioWare's office relocation quoted it as having 320 employees at its original Edmonton location. Eurogamer reported between 80 and 150 developers were working on BioWare Austin's Shadow Realm in 2014. It's unclear how they were distributed between Austin and Edmonton, but a majority would have been at the Texas location. Concrete numbers on BioWare Montreal are scarce. The CBC reported it had just 55 people in 2010, shortly after its formation, but 2017's Mass Effect Andromeda credits over 300 people directly on development, with the majority of them presumably at Montreal, given its status as the lead studio at the project. Shiki says, Lena, there's a piece of info about this you didn't know and you need to know. Gobbler's Knob is the name of the multiple locations, including the home of Puxtony Phil in Pennsylvania.
Huh?
Gobbler's Knob.
What? Has it always been called Gobbler's Knob?
Gobbler's Knob.
I feel like I'm living a fever dream right now.
I mean, Gobbler's Knob sounds like a good time. I
remember you made me watch that movie about the Groundhog Day.
The Bill Murray movie?
Was it called Gobbler's Knob in that movie?
I think so, yeah.
Oh. I don't remember.
Groundhog Day is an amazing film that if anybody hasn't seen, they should watch. It is probably not Harold Ramis. Gosh, what's that guy's name? Anyways, the guy who made all those comedies in the 80s. It's probably his finest work. It's amazing. Lindsay says sounds like a British slur. Yeah, Bill Murray. Nick says Groundhog Day is a classic. Yeah, it's so good. Nick said, yeah, I have a feeling Mass Effect 5 is their last game. Mass Effect Andromeda, Anthem, you don't usually get to do back-to-back failures and your shop stays open. Yeah, I can't imagine that they're going to... I don't even know that Mass Effect 5 comes out. Given just the state of things and where things are at. I think everything's going to be paused for a minute in just about every industry as we all try to see how all of this tariff thing is going to sort out. It's just definitely not the time to be like, hey, let's start let's start spending a crap ton of money on stuff, even though games are in a different weird spot because so much of them are, digital sales and I don't know how digital tariffs work or if they do work or if that's a thing. I would have to sit and actually figure out what's happening there. But I imagine there's a lot that goes into the sauce that we don't even know about that would get tariffed along the way. Nick says the tariff thing is here to stay. Trump just said it stays as long as he's in office. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, though, because it's I know in just my industry, like every single comic book that you see is printed in Canada. So with the exception of a few, and those are printed in China. And we already have our biggest distributor going through bankruptcy and everything. Like our industry is already in like this somewhat catastrophic free fall. That's taking a lot of publishers, distributors, and comic shops with it. So
this is really random, but I gotta talk about it. Okay. So like I googled like if there's anybody else talking about like this abuse of this groundhog.
You're still on this?
No, dude, I've been on it. Okay, like I've been on it. Someone posted a picture of them on Reddit with Punxsutawney Phil at this like meet and greet in which they put him in a little plastic fucking cylinder so people can meet him. Like, look at him. He's like, what the fuck am I doing
like,
in
let
here?
me out, white lady.
He does.
And she's like, hi.
Yeah. So she posted or she commented on the thing, which of course she's gonna fucking defend this because she got to meet him. Like, of course she's gonna be like, no, it's totally ethical. Everything's fine. I will explain it. Hopefully this comes up to the top. I don't know how this works. Phil doesn't live here. He lives at the library in a wonderful enclosure with his wife, Phyllis. He has a wife named Phyllis. Which, okay, if this enclosure is gigantic and fucking they feed him 5 square meals a day.
What if Phil and Phyllis don't get along? What if they're
That makes me sad.
like 200 years is too long to be married to anyone.
Phyllis isn't immortal. He lives at the library in a wonderful enclosure with his
Phyllis
wife,
isn't immortal?
I don't know. I don't
He's
know.
just running through life.
I don't know. I was making a joke. About twice a month, maybe, for 2 years, he visits Gobbler's Knob. In parentheses, she put, yes, I know. Which is...
Lacey says Punxsutawney Phil signed my tits.
He stays in... Wait,
She says they named her Phyllis. They deserve nothing.
He visits Gobbler's Knob, which is where he is here and where the official ceremony is. He stays in his little cylinder for only those 2 hours, maybe twice a month, where he had the largest assortment of snacks, and he's mostly dozed off. He wasn't in distress. They adore him. He means a lot to the people here, and they do not abuse him. So you can just feel good looking at the photo, knowing Phil is living his best groundhog life. I don't know that, like, that's an accurate statement. I think he just wants to be in the ground as a groundhog, but...
Shiki said, I'm sorry I derailed the stream with Punxsutawney facts and that you're fine.
It's okay. I needed to know these things. These are really important things to know because I was kind of in the land of whimsy when it came to that thing. I didn't know a lot of details about it. I just knew it was a groundhog that told us when spring was done.
I want like a whole like 10-part miniseries about Phyllis. Just like, you tell the weather once a year, Phil. You're not special. Not in here.
Oh my god. Stop. I hope she's nice to Phil.
Sam said, let this be a reminder. American capitalism kills whimsy. Yeah. Nick says that city's entire economy is based on that fucking groundhog. I would expect them probably to treat him well. Yeah. That's probably somewhat true.
That's true. I just, the like idea of yanking him out of that place every year and like, I was worried they trapped him in there for the entire year and did not allow him to leave. And then the only time they allowed him any respite, I don't know how to say that word. Mm-hmm. Could you tell me how to say it?
I think it's respite.
Okay. It? Respite. I don't know how to say it.
I don't know how you came up with a third option.
I don't know. Oh my god, what is this energy this morning? It's weird. But yeah, I was hoping like they let him out more than once a year, I guess is what I was trying to figure out. And it looks like they do, but only to shove him in a little plastic cylinder and make people come in and meet him. So
Shiki says abuse comes in many forms. It isn't just physical harm. He absolutely is stressed out by all those humans. There's absolutely no way he's not. He may be the descendant of several domesticated groundhogs, but that's too much. Maybe don't build your economy on a gimmick. LMAO.
Look at his face. Look at his face in this picture.
Let me out. Let me out. This is not a dance. I'm begging for help. I'm screaming for help.
He's literally like, he's just looking at this lady like, please, why are you smiling? Why are you laughing? Let me out. Like, dude. Oh my God.
Sam said respit sounded like Ignis saying, I've come up with a new recipe.
So, one final statement. At least you know that, like, my level of crazy isn't, like, if I ever, like, snapped and, like, did something crazy, I wouldn't try to, like, overthrow the government or, like, do something, like, rob a bank. I would just go and, like, try to free Phil.
Oh, whenever I see, like, footage of, like people, like, freeing test animals and, like, that kind of stuff, I'm like, there's a die roll in which that's Selena someday.
Yeah, there is. Probably.
Yeah. It's like more than likely not, but like the right
combination of events
yeah
could push me into that lifestyle.
But that's like as violent as you would be like sneaking into places and releasing animals.
100%. I can't believe they keep him in that cylinder. Oh my God.
Shiki said, I am too, but they still make me. You are too what? Oh, Nick says he's around humans all day, though, every day, though. And Shiki said, I am too, but they still make me anxious.
Yeah.
Nick says, you're not groundhog. Groundhogs aren't predators. They literally live their entire lives in fear every time they come out of their holes. He doesn't have to fend for himself. I think he's probably got it pretty good as far as groundhogs go. No, more than likely, Nick, so what's happened is that's what his like father's father thought, like, oh man, this is great, but like at this point it's all he knows.
Yeah, he doesn't know any different.
And he's just like, they've stolen the land of my people.
Yeah.
And they put me on display, and yeah, it's he no longer recognizes it as a It is that he's she said, is it that you won the lottery and we get to move out of the country? Oh, because Sam said he is good news. Yeah, I'm definitely we would be probably traversing north if my life was a little bit different. I don't know how you do that with children, and especially with children and not married to their parent.
We take all of us. All of us. The whole fam.
Just everybody?
Yeah, everybody. We live on a big like farm.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 separate houses.
I mean, you have to talk to the one person of the 3 of us that actually makes money, which is their mom.
No, we are going to build these houses, and you can build. You built that shelf out there. So
I did build a shelf.
You can build a house. I believe.
Yeah, but that still takes money.
Go
we
chop
would
down
have to build it in Canada because we're not going to be able to afford lumber anymore because it's all going to be
chop down some
tariffed.
trees. They got trees in Canada.
Well, yeah, it's like we'd have to. Sam said, I'm very close to the streams where Shiki moved in, so Jeff will be happy to have that bit of lore on the VOD channel. Awesome.
Yay.
I'm excited for that. I do love some good Sam and Shiki lore. Sony just axed the 60 frames per second Bloodborne mod with a DMCA takedown. Twitch streamer and creator Lance McDonald first published the mod back in 2021. This is from Antonio G. D. Benedetto from The Verge, who says a popular frame rate mod is no longer available thanks to a DMCA takedown request from Sony.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Australia-based Twitch streamer Lance McDonald first developed the mod back in 2020.
I'm not laughing at that. I was laughing at something I read on Reddit because there's one last Phil fact and then we're done here. There's a whole ass like Phil FAQ, I guess, on groundhog.com. And
Of course there is.
I guess there's a part of it I didn't see it on the article. I just saw someone quoting it on Reddit. So don't take this 100% like as fact. I'm just reading something on Reddit. Someone posted their favorite part. Does Phil have a wife? Yes, her name is Phyllis. She doesn't receive the elixir of life, so she will not live forever like Phil. And apparently they have children too. Does his children receive the elixir of life?
Just Phil.
So Phil has had to like lose his many wives and many children. Just yanked out of that hole every year and disassociated.
That's the perfect thing of like, let's make this lie to make children feel better and make some magic and whimsy, but it's so much worse than the actual reality. Like he lives forever, but his wife and children do not.
Well, I learned that apparently like one of the 1990s Phils like had gotten very ill and passed away right before Groundhog Day because they gave him like a little house to like sleep in his burrow, and it had like not like good paint like for animals, and he chewed it and then he passed away. That's not funny.
It's not. It is like funny as they're trying to be like, this is Phil, he lives forever. Did we just poison Phil?
Yeah, like shit. Like, and to be fair, their heart was in the right place. They gifted him like a cool like little burrow house thing, and he chewed it, and then I guess it turned out to be toxic apparently. It's
Fucking
wild.
Phil.
I'm done doing research on this because I either hurt my own feelings or I just get angry. So
Sam said Phil facts, trademark.
yes.
Nick said, stupid Sony, we know you want more Bloodborne, but we're not giving it to you. But neither is anyone else. Yeah.
Is Pete in here?
Pete is in here.
Okay.
Yeah. Australia-based Twitch streamer Lance McDonald first developed the mod back in 2020 before making it available to download in 2021. Lance announced today in a post on X that Sony Interactive Entertainment asked them to remove the download links for the patch. The hack's sole purpose was to get Bloodborne running at a smoother 60 frames per second with improved frame pacing. From Software originally released Bloodborne back in 2015 for the PlayStation 4, and the game has always been locked at 30 frames per second with occasional stuttering from inconsistent pacing. The beloved game's graphical limitations have persisted even on the PS4 Pro, and while playing it via backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 5. Lance's mod received a share of testing and praise from the Soulsborne community that covet From Software games but wish their technical and graphical chops were more cutting edge. This includes being spotlighted by creators like Digital Foundry, who even interviewed McDonald about his hack back in 2020 and used his mod to make a 4K 60 frames per second presentation on PlayStation 5 using AI upscaling. I recently published a Bloodborne PS4 emulation video that really juices up their performance and has extra spicy video thumbnail aimed at Sony. Can PC emulation deliver the Bloodborne remaster Sony can't? But yeah, or perhaps Sony is just taking a page from Nintendo's playbook. You're allowed to issue takedowns for your own thing. I personally would see this takedown as a good sign, because that means that they're probably actually moving in the direction of doing some sort of update. But you just made a noise. Did you just discover more Phil facts?
Very harrowing ones indeed.
What did you discover now?
Apparently, well, the first one isn't very harrowing. I was just more wondering because the Groundhog Club, which is an inner circle of 15 people wearing top hats and bow ties, and they're responsible for taking care of Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Do they let women do that? I've never seen a woman.
Probably not.
I don't know though. Like, to be completely honest,
this
I'm
is
not
Trump's
sitting
America.
Here. Oh my god. Well, yeah, now we won't.
We're not
for
getting
sure.
DEI hires in the Groundhog Club. Are you kidding me?
Oh my goodness. And apparently, this is 9 fun facts about Groundhog Day from yesterdaysamerica.com. One of the first Groundhog Day celebrations took place in 1886, and apparently, according to Yesterday's America, traditional celebrations once involved eating the groundhog.
Ugh.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, because the I'm glad. I guess I'm glad we don't do that anymore. Like, Jesus Christ.
Shiki says, all right, it's time to ask the important question. Is Puxatony Phil copyrighted? I'm guessing so.
Why is this a fun fact about Groundhog Day? That's not fucking fun.
And Shiki says, it looks like we made it up to 9 vultures. That's a lot of
Damn,
vultures.
that is a lot.
Sam says, I'm pretty sure someone's hiding a body at 13. We need to call the cops or something. I'm always intrigued with true crime stuff, with like the stories of just like the neighbors like kind of consistently being like, there's something weird. There's weird smell, like that whole like a neighborhood like slowly realizing that there's like a bunch of bodies buried somewhere. Like always like fascinates me. And then the Jeffrey Dahmer thing, when he was just like, homie was like literally in a fucking apartment. It's you had like next door neighbors and upstairs and downstairs neighbors being like, something not great is happening in just kind of the slow burn of people taking that seriously. I've never, in all my true crime dives though, I've never seen the story be like, there's like 7 vultures, 9 vultures though.
It's definitely like it could be like a bigger animal, maybe. Like a deer or something, or like a cow. Do you guys have moo-moos over there?
Maybe they're waiting for one to kick the bucket.
That's sad.
There's a so there is a religious tradition, I think in the Middle East, I could be getting that wrong though, where they don't bury their dead. They like when people die, they have this like this tower that when you die, they set you up on the tower to be eaten by vultures. And that is the most metal fucking thing in the world, and I fucking love it.
Aside from like a Viking funeral where they like take your body out on a boat and burn it.
Yeah.
That's pretty metal.
It's not as metal as like, hey, the name, I forget the name of the tower too, but the name of the tower is like metal as fuck. Like I fucking love it. But they were going through problems in the last couple of years because they're with everything else that's happening in the world, the vulture population has dwindled, and so there's people putting bodies up there that then weren't getting eaten by vultures.
Oh,
so
I kind of, is that ethical, do you think? Because like, can someone like sign off to have that happen to them, and like you're feeding the vultures?
Yeah,
it's probably,
it's like it is
ultimately
as
a good
normal
thing.
to them as like burying in the, they would look at burying in the ground as like, why would you do that?
Yeah. Huh.
Like it's just like, it's just a different culture.
Yeah.
Shiki said, I Googled if you can call animal control on vultures, and one of the results was, what's the penalty for killing a vulture? And the answer is a $15,000 fine and up to 6 months in prison. I'm kind of okay with that. Sam says, now we're not quite in farmland. Shiki says, so the house that they're by, the man that lived there died in the house, and someone's cleaning it out. I'm wondering if the smell from him airing out attracted them. That's wild.
That could be it, yeah.
Sam said, it's a small town, but they're in a tree by an abandoned house.
Huh.
Nick says, good old blood eagle. Shiki says, there's another rite that priest breaks your body, and then they leave it to be scavenged, which is also pretty fucking metal. Yeah, I'm okay with any of that. I don't...
I just want to be a tree.
Yeah, that's been my thing, too. Is like, plant me with like tree roots so I can just turn into a tree.
Yeah.
Sam says burying in a box in the ground is wasteful as fuck for so many reasons. Yeah, I don't want that.
Nope.
eBay users are getting back at graphics card scalping bots by listing pictures of the RTX 590 for $2,000, occasionally framed. This is from James Bentley at PC Gamer, who said, another graphics card launch filled with bot scalpers and 300% markups, NVIDIA's hotly anticipated GPUs, the RTX 5090 and RTX 5080,
I have to go pee. I'll be right back.
went on sale this week, and scalpers have bought as many as they can sell on for higher prices. Yet there are some seemingly looking to stop them from getting away with it. Thanks for the sub, Nix. Appreciate you. I love that the fact that CBAT is one of the things that can trigger, like makes Selena so angry. She hates that song so much and hates like the thing that resulted in that song being a meme so much. But it seems to always go off when she'll like get up for a minute and then it plays. It's amazing. In both the US and UK, you can find tons of listings of what appears to be RTX 5090 around the card's MSRP. Many of these also come with a light warning to read description at the end. This clues you into the strange game being played here. In the description sits a disclaimer that these sellers are actually emailing pictures of RTX cards to unsophisticated bots, or even more unsophisticated scalpers, people looking to take advantage of the low supply, high demand situation to resell the graphics card for a pretty penny. Many of these listings won't physically send you the picture. It's just a JPEG and an email, and not even an NFT, like that would be worth more anyways. However, one listing says the photo dimensions is 8 by 8 inches. I got the frame from Target. Do not buy if you're a human. Though I'm tempted to say that none of this amounts to more than just annoying scalpers. Some like this $1,200 drawing of an RTX 5090 actually sold a unit in the last 24 hours. This $1,900 entry has also managed to make a sale. Surely these are not purchases made by humans, right? So maybe some bots are out there trying to snap up cards on eBay. Some listings have even got more creative, like this one that is effectively someone throwing away their clutter. You will receive a random item in the mail from a donation store. It will be either a book, a water bottle, or whatever else. This new scheme is so effective that when I search for an RTX 5090 on eBay right now, there's not a single genuine 5090 posting on the entire first page. Though the idea of a scalper losing money on doesn't exactly make me feel very sympathetic. I do wonder how much of the claim that these listings are for bots is actually genuine. A big sign saying read description is a tell that what you're buying isn't real, but many of the listings don't even go this far. I've seen multiple when I search that clarify it's a picture in the description, but not on the listing title. Even then, it's understandable why a potential buyer might not get all the way to the bottom of the description to see this beautiful piece of technology is not just beautiful in your PC, but on your wall. So here's a photo you can buy for your wall. Though we can see the plans forming over on Reddit, I've seen some commenters creating mock-ups of listings to encourage others into making their own. Some are using VPNs and burner laptops to post as many listings as possible. Scalpers won't get much sympathy from me, especially when they're trying to sell the card for almost $8,000, which is itself absurd. Shiki says, I want to do the mushroom suit, next to no emissions, and you feed the fungi and fertilize the earth. I didn't know the mushroom suit. Are you still buried? But yeah, I've always wanted to be a tree. That's been my main go-to. And Selena's the first partner I've had that's been on board with that, because the ones before have all been like, but what if we forget to water the tree and then the tree dies and then we have to deal with your death twice?
My grandparents bought their graves already, so I can't push them to be trees, but
yeah, I think that's fine. That generation is...
It's just weird because they make us go there sometimes, and they're like, we're going to go check on our graves. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, and they tried to normalize, like, going to graves as I was, like, growing up, too. And like,
yeah, that's completely normalized for me. I just didn't have anyone pushing me to go visit as an adult, so I stopped.
Well, and it's like, I don't know how to tell that especially everything through that generation, like, guys are gonna dig all these up. It's gonna happen. Like, it's not sustainable. It's a very I don't know how it's going to be handled, and I'm sure it's going to be a big to do when it happens. But sometime probably in my lifetime, they're going to be digging these graves up.
I will say it is nice of them to do that because they wanted to make sure that like the kids didn't have to pay for their burial stuff.
Oh, my mom did that after everything happened with my dad, because it's just like it is such a it's a crazy thing, and it's like a lot of it, the money part of it's bad, but a lot of it isn't even the money part. It's the decisions. You have to make all these decisions, and there's all these people lining up. That's like, you want to spend this kind of money? Didn't you love your parent? You know, like,
you want them to have this nice casket. You want them to have this nice gravestone. And no, my grandparents are just like, it's really cute. Actually, they got all of their graves put in the same spot, like where their family is at. And like, they were like trying to, not like pushing me into like, one day you should be here kind of thing. They were just like, that way, if that's where you guys want yours, like there's spaces. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to think about that, but thank you.
Again, I don't mind thinking about that. I just don't know how to have the conversation with that generation that it's like, there is no, if we as a generation also elect to do this route, then it's going to be on our kids and our kids' kids to definitely watch us get dug up. And like, I'm not going to do that to them. Like, that's crazy. It's like, it's not, the numbers are, but that generation struggles with every conversation about like, hey, these numbers keep going in this direction. It's bad.
Yeah.
Lindsay says capitalism is designed to milk us for every penny, even after we're dead. It's absolutely savage. It is. Shiki says a mushroom burial suit costs around $1,500. This is mid-range price option compared to other burial methods. Luke Perry had the mushroom suit burial. Yeah, the mushroom suit burial sounds legit. I would prefer trees over mushrooms, but it seems like a variation of the same thing. Hey, Smash Brothers inspired MultiVersus is shutting down a second time. This is from Ethan Gotch over at Kotaku. This happened shortly after we ended the show on Friday. It was like, I shut the show down and then went in. It was like, holy cow, what happened here? Nick says MultiVersus was so big for such a short time, then poof, dead. It was kind of big. So like, it had a really good early access period, and then it was like they shut it down, but it seemed like they shut it down to like do like a bigger release at some point as an official release, and that doesn't. Then it kind of happened, and it happened with a whimper. I don't know why they ever shut it. I don't think it survived that shutdown. Warner Brothers pulling the plug on another failed multiplayer game. Its Smash Brothers inspired platform fighter MultiVersus will shut down at the end of Season 5, just a year after its bumpy return from live service purgatory. The game will still be available to play offline, but there won't be any refunds to players who have already spent money. After careful consideration, our next season will serve as the final seasonal content update for the game. MultiVersus developers wrote on the game's website on Friday. Fans will need to download the new update in order to still play offline after Season 5 ends, but no new downloads of the game will be allowed after that. All microtransactions in the free-to-play game have also been halted. Season 5 begins on February 4th, 2025, and will run through May 30th, 2025. It adds DC's Aquaman and Looney Tunes' Lola Bunny. Both characters have to be unlocked, Aquaman via the Battle Pass and Lola as the daily calendar login reward. It seems like a weird move for a game that only has 90 days left to live. There won't be any refunds on recent purchases either. This announcement does not change any current refund policies or terms offered by the storefronts from which the content was previously purchased. MultiVersus originally launched in 2022 and was the new online hotness for a brief period. Yeah, that's when it was in early access. It was like mostly very young kids playing it too, which I guess makes sense because like 50 to 75% of that like roster was like Cartoon Network characters and stuff. But like you could also play as like Game of Thrones characters and inexplicably LeBron James. So it was a very weird like setup. But then you'd go into that game, and because it was you and a bunch of 7-year-olds, you'd do real well. It's like, it was fine. And then, their monetization strategies once they came out of early access, I just don't think they'd ever quite figured it out. Lindsay says, kitty cat. Yeah, that's Pete.
Pete. Send me a Pete.
Shiki said, time for everyone to download it on their old phone so you can sell the phone for $1,500. Probably.
Hi.
Nick said, I still have a phone with Flappy Bird on it.
Hi, beautiful. He's my boy. Pete does not like me very much. I mean, he does, but he's very much like, I'm the only person he feels comfortable bullying. Like, the only human he feels comfortable bullying.
Like, yeah, he feels comfortable bullying.
He feels comfortable bullying the other cats, but
they don't respond well to it.
He doesn't see me as, like, his mom. He sees me as, like, his sibling, and it's really funny, because it's just like, bro. I don't understand why you're so mean to me.
MultiVersus monetization model didn't do it any favors either. Players complained about the cost of unlocking characters for local tournament play and the general grindiness for those who didn't spend lots of extra cash. This is the latest game Warner Brothers has bailed on just a year after release, with 2024's Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League also being unceremoniously put out to pasture after struggling to find a following.
Get him down there.
Oh, he's laying down next to us.
He's become a puddle.
This decision was not made lightly. All of us on the Player First Games and Warner Brothers Games teams have put our heart and soul into MultiVersus, creating a unique social and cooperative experience from the ground up that brings together a variety of popular characters and worlds. The development team wrote on the game's facts and questions page. We're very proud of the game we've built and are incredibly thankful for the support MultiVersus community throughout this journey. Your passion and enthusiasm has been unmatched. It's weird. This, like, watching the collapse of all these live service games is fascinating because it's like all these stupid, dumb as fuck CEOs pushed all of this stuff out there and be like, why are we making single player games where these online multiplayer games can make us money forever? Not realizing the other side of that coin, which is like, hey, you have to pay for these games forever. Like, there's a version of, like, if you would have put this out and it would have just been like a multiplayer game, but like a locally multiplayer game with like traditional, like, hey, you can play online with people, but not seen as like a full on live service thing. But you just put out like a $40 game and like kids wanted to buy it because they wanted to play as fucking Adventure Time characters and or LeBron James. Like that's a world where like you make your money and then you kind of test the waters and then you can like walk away and it's not seen as a failure because there's not this whole big like we're shutting it down moment that all these games have to have now. It's really funny to watch this hell that they've created for themselves. Nick said most of the live service games have no clue what they're doing. They think they're just release some cosmetics and maybe a new weapon or two, but the game is the same. Otherwise, are missing it. Yeah. Bungie did pretty well with Destiny, but even now they're running out of ideas and repeating themselves. Yeah, because you can't. You can't just perpetually put stuff out forever and expect the quality to remain at any kind of level. And so your possibility space is go the Funko Pop / Fortnite route, where there's always another IP that's willing to like roll through, and that'll help you innovate and keep going, presuming you have the user base there that's still excited and engaged. Or you just have this constant diminishing returns of just like, yeah, what is there left to do or say in Destiny? And like, we run into this in the comic book space too. Like, how much can characters actually change and grow and move and everything if everything's got to be locked into this like static state? And so you have a lot of these companies who built their name on doing these like incredible, very engaging video game stories. And you can't tell stories in a world that you have to be able to boot the game up tomorrow too, right? Because then the world can actually meaningfully change. It's wild. It watching the slow. I never would have thought, as someone who booted up EverQuest and booted up World of Warcraft and went, wow, this isn't for me, that I would watch that like slowly eke into every single game that gets released. But then I should have, because EverQuest and World of Warcraft were able to charge subscriptions and make money forever. And that's what all these places want. But if I'm playing all of these games forever, I don't have any room for new games, guys. And only so many of us want to play games forever. And this was a game that had like a massive, massive, massive response when it was free and in early access, and you just never could quite figure out how to, turn that into a thing that made money. And probably never would. I don't know. But we got real problems, like Punxsutawney Phil. So
Yes.
we have to free Punxsutawney Phil.
Sorry, I was distracted.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Read more on our groundhog brethren.
That, and there was like a local stuff happening, and I was just like, what is going on? Like the local opera house that we have in our town, like someone was doing a show there and people were being like terrible to that person.
No.
And
okay.
It was just shitty. I was just trying to figure out what was going on.
What are you talking about? Our local politics are always...
Oh, yeah, so great.
Well, we're having a big problem right now because our person that is the head of our local Democratic Party has chosen to, both as a statement of the local Democratic Party and himself, chosen to say a lot of like very unhinged things that you just cannot say. And that would not be endorsed by many of the local Democratic leadership, and even if it were, would definitely not be things that, like, the majority are people that would not say or think those things, and then of the minority that would not be those that would say or
on a public
thing as a statement of the
as
party,
a statement of a whole. That is part of the problem.
And it's even turned into some mess that's gotten into my yard a little bit, because like anyone who's ever been associated now with like the local Democratic Party is getting pretty like dragged and doxxed and everything online by by national stuff that's going on, because it's like it kept getting picked up as like a bigger and bigger story, and then became a national story, and then it's like and me, who has been admin on a few pages for like little local elections that normally, that one, have passed, and two, like, are no longer like would never draw any national interest to any national trolls. My name's out there now a couple of places just for like helping out here or there or everything, because they're just going after whoever they think they can for.
I had no idea. I knew of other people whose names were out there. I did not know that yours was.
Yeah.
That's scary.
That stuff started to hit this weekend a little bit. So I think I've done enough maybe to like, but it's also that the thing of like, it's like you can't go out there and be like, hey, I don't endorse, because then you're just inviting them.
Yep.
So it's like this weird, like, how do you deal with all that stuff? I don't even know. And it sucks because it's like, I get being mad right now. There's just also like, it's like there are certain things you can, whether or not you believe there are things you can think, there are certain things you don't say, and you can't go out there in public forums and say them. And that's all been a lot and very frustrating, and not like another thing that any of us need, while everything else is on fire too. So it's so we've had that locally going. It's been a fun, interesting time. But like I said, the creepy dude getting getting trolled in a song, and then that song winning 5 Grammys. That's what's carrying me through this week. I think that's gonna fuel me. And it does seem that like as a culture and as a people, we still are moving in a direction of improvement. It's just the shitty people that want it to stay the way things were are just really loud right now. But I still think there's more of us.
Yeah.
And that's the hope I'm going to cling to as we move through this post Groundhog terrifying reality. Hey, by the way, we have a YouTube channel that we've been putting a lot of work into. You can find it there. That's our gameplay channel for YouTube. We edit everything down over there. It takes a lot of work, but it means that when you watch a video, you're watching like a 4 or 5 hour video that's been cut down to 20 minutes of just the highlights. So it should be a slightly more entertaining experience of things. Sam says, go watch Lena get scared. Yes, there's a lot of Lena getting scared on that.
There is a lot of me getting scared.
Also, I will be live on here later today from 3 to 6, continuing my playthrough of Final Fantasy II. I think we'll actually make some progress today. Sam says, also, Jeff, yes, I also get scared. There are definitely times where the controller's not in my hand, but it does get me. And says Jeff's Final Fantasy rant is pretty great. Yeah. If you want to see all my thoughts on the first Final Fantasy on NES, that's also on the YouTube channel. Sam says, I'm excited for the Final Fantasy II rant in 6 months. I was hoping it would be in less than 2, because we're coming up on we're a month away from the year anniversary of Dork Duck, and I will have only beaten one Final Fantasy game in all that time.
That's still progress.
And then I got to look at the calendar. We'll have something by the end of the week, because I know we were initially talking about planning some sort of 24-hour-ish thing for like the year anniversary of Dork Duck, which is coming up a month from now. So
Wowie.
This is a week where we have to lock all that in. So stay tuned. We'll have all of that coming at some point this week. Some announcements. Because a year ago we were like, hey, this is on Selena's birthday. Isn't that funny and cool? Ha 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 ha. Not realizing that it's like, oh, if we want to make a big deal about the anniversary, it's going to run into Selena's birthday every single year.
It's okay. We can just make my birthday the whole week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. But yeah, Delilah, the Dork Duck, and Selena share a birthday. So
We sure do.
All right. Let's Let's go Bug Pixel. We do have raid messages? My brain just forgot the word raid there for a second. They look like that. If you aren't subscribed, and if you're subscribed like Nix did today, you can use it using our emotes, and it looks like that. We're going to go say hi to Pixel. Be honest, be kind, be useful, live a good fucking life. Shiki says thank you for stream. Thank you for hanging out for stream.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for all the Puxatoni nonsense. We appreciate you. But yeah. I'll see you later at 3. Otherwise, have a good day.
Yeah.
Bye.